Hi class, in lesson 6.2, the learning target that we are going to focus on is identifying equivalent forms of fractions, decimals, and percents. A key term to look for in lesson 6.2, benchmark percents. Please turn to page 407, problem 2, and answer number 2 and number 3 with your group members. For number 2, you can multiply any number by 1/100th to calculate 1% of the number, or you can also move the decimal point 2 places to the left when multiplying any number by 1%. For number 3, you can multiply any number by 1/10th to calculate 10% of any number, or you can also move the decimal point 1 place to the left when multiplying any number by 10%. Please turn to page 408. A benchmark percent is a percent that is commonly used, such as 1%, 5%, 10%, 25%, 50%, and 100%. You can use benchmark percents to calculate any whole percent of a number. I would like you to do number 4, letters A through E, with your group members, and please write your relationships in complete sentences. For number 4, letter A, 50% is half of 100%. B, 25% is a quarter or a fourth of 100%. And 25% is half of 50%. And for letter C, 10% is 1/10 of 100%. And 10% is 1/5 of 50%. Letter D, 5% is half of 10%. And for letter E, 1% is 1/10 of 10%, and 1% is 1/5 of 5%. Please answer number 5, letters A through F with your group members, and remember that you are doing this mentally. Letter A, we'd have $300, B, $3, C, $150, D, $75, E, $30, and F, $15. Turn to page 409. Akuro eats at the Eat and Talk restaurant and decides to leave a 15% tip. He says, I can easily calculate 10% of any number and then calculate half of that, which is equal to 5%. I can then add those 2% values together to get a sum of 15%. Please answer number 6 with your group members. For number 6, Akuro's method is reasonable. She is using benchmark fractions in order to help determine what the tip is. She calculates 10% of 16, which would be 1.6, and then half of 1.6, which would be 8/10. That's your 5%. The 15% tip would then be equal to the sum of 1.6 plus 0.8, which would be $2.40. Please answer number 7, letters A through C, with your group members. For number 7, letter A, 10% of 24 would be $2.40. 5% then would be $1.20. If you add those together, you're going to get $3.60. So 15% of $24 is $3.60. For letter B, 10% of 32 56/100ths is 3 256 Half of that, or 5%, would be 1 628 When you add them together, you get a sum of 4 884 That's going to be your 15%. Since we are dealing with money, you have to round. So 15% of $32.56 is $4.88. And for letter C, 10% of 47 is 4.70. Half of that, or 5%, is 2.35. If you add them together, you get 7.05, which is your 15%. So 15% of $47 is $7.05. Turn to page 410 and answer number 8, letters A through C with your group members. For number 8, letter A, you can determine 10% of the number and double that to get 20%. Then you can determine 1% and double that in order to get 2%. The last thing then that you have to do is subtract the 2% from the 20% in order to get 18% of the number. For letter B, you can determine 10% of the number and double that to get 20%. Then you can take half of the 10%, which would be 5%, and add the 20% and the 5% for your sum of 25% of the number. And for letter C, you can determine 10% of the number and multiply that by 4 to get 40%. Then you can determine 1% of the number, multiply that by 3 to get 3%, and subtract the 3% from the 40% to get 37% of the number. This will conclude today's lesson 6.2 on benchmark percents. Please let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.